Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fizz up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. We know the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Finn Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Finn Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing this morning? Oh, another day, another depressing day to be a Miami Dolphins fan at the very least. I mean, you can look at it multiple ways. Either you can be depressed or you can be excited for this new regime. You can be excited for Sully to be a general manager replacing Chris Greer, Chris Greer was here for a long time. Did things the way that Chris Greer wanted to do them, and obviously that didn't work out. We haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. You can't win Super Bowls without winning playoff games, so there's that. And then, the Mike McDaniel era over. We go with Coach Jeff Hafley, first time NFL head coach. He has head coaching experience at the collegiate level at Boston College, although not too much success there. Although Boston College isn't really known for the football program. I mean, they haven't been a very good football program in a long time. So not very much success there, but he comes from being the offensive the defensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers, led one of the top units in the NFL while he was there for 2 years. So, hopefully he can get this defense turned around. But to be honest, this defense isn't what it's going to be when things are said and done. This team is doing a major turnover, major construction to this roster. Who knows who's going to be here when everything's said and done. So there's just so many unknown variables for the Miami Dolphins right now. Obviously, this past few days we've released Bradley Chubb, who hasn't been officially released. Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, um, James Daniels, who that one's a head scratcher to me, honestly. It costs us more money to release him than to keep him. And this is a team that is in very much need of reliable guards. And we go and we release a guy that has Pro Bowl, has all pro capabilities, and it costs us more to release him than it did to keep him. So that one is a head scratcher. Maybe they know something I don't. Um, I did hear that, coaches felt that he was at some point last year that he was healthy enough to play. He didn't feel that way, wasn't willing to come back and risk it. Maybe they're feeling some type of way about that. Although this is a new regime, so I don't know how you could be if he didn't feel comfortable, if he didn't feel like he should come back and play for a team that, to be honest, wasn't going anywhere. They weren't going anywhere. And if he didn't feel comfortable playing because he was worried about getting injured again, because he was coming off the ACL injury and then he tears the pec three snaps in, he wanted to be 100% healthy. And like I said, James Daniels, when healthy, is a top guard in this league. So to release a guard and only gain, what was it, $1.2 million cap savings, but you take a $4 million cap hit, I just don't. That move really doesn't make sense. And then we released Nick Westbrook-Akine, the wide receiver that we signed from Tennessee Titans. He was an absolute joke. I'm cool with that move 100% all day, every day. Guy had 11 catches for 89 yards. Did absolutely nothing in an offense that was dying for a wide receiver to step up opposite Jalen Waddle after Tyreek Hill went down. And you still could only muster 11 catches for 89 yards. Absolutely atrocious. Raphael, what's up, brother? Christian, what's up? So, when does the roster purge end? When does it end? When does it come to an end? Now they're talking about, obviously we got to deal with Tua, right? Obviously the Tua thing is still hanging over our heads. This team is going to try to trade Tua first and foremost. I doubt that they find a trade partner, but maybe someone gets sucked into it. And then they're starting to talk about Minkah Fitzpatrick. Do you trade Minkah Fitzpatrick? I think it was clear and obvious to most people watching Minkah last year when he gave his press availability and he was talking to the press that I never felt that Minkah was happy here. He was never happy here the first time when we drafted him here. We ended up trading him to the Pittsburgh Steelers, as most people know. And I just don't feel like he was happy to be back last year. I don't think he was happy to be back last year, and I don't think he's happy now. So, I mean, if you can get some kind of pick, some compensation for Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'm cool with moving on from him. We don't need guys in the building that don't want to be here. If we're starting over and we're building this thing from the ground up, you don't want to start with a guy that does not want to be here. A veteran in that locker room that all he can do is poison the rest of the roster. So I'm okay with moving on from Minkah, even if the compensation isn't probably what the player's worth, because I think Minkah can still be a very good safety in this league. Do I think his days as the number one safety in football or the number two safety in football are over? Yeah, I don't think he's that same player anymore, but I think he can help a contender down the stretch, maybe get over that hump. He's a very smart player, has a nose for the football. At least when he was in Pittsburgh, he did. But yeah, I'm cool with moving on from Minkah. Who else is a candidate to move on from? There was rumors that Jalen Waddle, said I'm next after Tyreek was let go of, and this, that, and the third. Tyreek Waddle made a post saying cap. So believe what you want. Do I think Waddle would probably like to move on at this point? Sure. Why not? Waddle sees other teams winning around the league. This is a complete rebuild. He knows that we're probably going to struggle. We're probably going to struggle this season coming up. Man. So I'd be willing to move on from Waddle. I think the Miami Dolphins should have moved on from Waddle last year. When we were offered a first-round pick, we should have moved on from him. The fact that we even got offered a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle blows my mind. And I guess we didn't do the deal because we wanted a first-round pick last year instead of, or a 26th first round instead of a 27. Come on. We should have took that all day, every day. All day, every day. Jalen Waddle is not a number one receiver. He's just not. And I like Waddle. Don't get me wrong. I like Waddle. I don't love him for what we pay him, but I think Waddle is one of the better number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. He's just not a number 1. He's not a guy you can consistently count on to make the play when it needs to be made. I don't completely trust his hands. I feel like he should be able to do more after the catch than what he does. But again, he has an issue with jumping up when the ball arrives. He jumps and catches a lot. I didn't quite see so much of it this year. But again, we weren't throwing the ball down the field at all this year. Tyree, the problems with Tua, obviously. So we weren't really throwing the ball down the field too much. So I just, I'm willing to move on from Jalen Waddle if the price is right. But I'm not willing to move on from all these guys. Devon Achane. I'm not ready to move on from Devon Achane. And there's lots of rumors. I've seen TD say, everybody's for sale. Let everybody go. And I'm not on that boat. I'm not letting our best player go for a 4th round draft pick simply because he's a running back and running backs aren't appreciated. I'm not letting Achane go for a 4th. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not worth it to me. The chances that 4th round pick turns into a player the level of Devon Achane is 0 to none. Devon Achane right now is one of the elite running backs in football. He's one of the elite running backs in football. The things this guy was able to do last year under a porous offensive line. Like, we got Larry Borom and Strange on the offensive line. We got the worst left guard in football and Jonas Vayanaya on the line. And Achane just tearing people apart. You want to ship him out for a 4th simply because you don't want to pay the guy? What happened to, they talk about paying our own, not going out in free agency and getting guys, paying our own guys, keeping our own free agents. Well, this is your test right here. And maybe you guys didn't draft Devon Achane. You didn't have to draft Devon Achane. You can simply see how good the kid is. And he's super young. And when you're ready to compete, hopefully next year, because hopefully this rebuild, it doesn't take forever to rebuild the NFL roster no more. It doesn't take a super long time to build an NFL roster if you know what you're doing. No longer does a rebuild take 4 or 5 years. Not in this day and age. Not with the amount of kids that are capable of playing at a high level coming out of college. This isn't your daddy's NFL. This isn't even the older guys, like even myself. I'm 40 years old. This isn't the NFL 20 years ago where, you go into the NFL draft and guys got to sit 2-3 years before they're ready to play. Players are ready to play immediately. Quarterbacks, most of them, a lot of them are ready to play immediately. At least the elite ones are. A rebuild shouldn't be more than 1-2 years max. And Devon Achane is still young enough that when we're ready to hopefully compete for playoff spots, division titles, and hopefully a Super Bowl, Devon Achane's still way under the age of 30. So I absolutely keep Devon Achane. Pay the kid. He's earned it. He's earned it. Pay the kid. Now, I wouldn't give him $25 million, but 15 to 20, I mean, who else we paying besides guys that are no longer here? Who else we paying besides guys that are no longer here? We're paying for more for guys that aren't here no more than we are for guys that are here. And not to mention, I know, and most fans got to realize that we're going through a rebuild. It's going to be a tough year, but that doesn't mean we don't need something to cheer for this year. That doesn't mean we don't deserve some kind of excitement and some kind of joy this year. And to me, it's an utter joy to watch Devon Achane run the football. At the very least, if we're going to be a bad team, at least we get to watch our star running back tear people up still. Hopefully, we still get to watch our star running back break the occasional 50, 60-yard touchdown run. Maybe occasionally we get to watch our star running back give us a highlight reel play. And we can still say, hey, at least we have something to hang our hats on and say, hey, we got one of the best players in the NFL still. So there's no way that I'm getting rid of Devon Achane, especially for a 4th round pick. Absolutely. Not a 3rd, not a 2nd, unless you're coming and knocking on the door with a 1st round pick, which nobody's going to do. Nobody's going to give up a 1st round pick for a running back. But unless you're coming with a 1st rounder, there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. Patrick Paul and Devon Achane are the 2 untouchables on this football team. They're the 2 untouchables on this football team, in my opinion. They're the 2 guys that can be here when this rebuild is over and can help us contribute, help us get to where we want to be. Left tackles don't grow on trees, and yeah, running backs do, but not special running backs. Not special running backs. Not running backs that have the capability to break a home run every time they touch the ball. Devon Achane is special. Devon Achane is special. God, if the kid was 2 inches taller and weighed an extra 40 pounds, he'd be a monster. You know what I mean? Jeez. Could you imagine? So obviously the Miami Dolphins are moving on from Tua Tagovailoa. Who are some of the top free agent quarterback options that we can have come in and compete with Quinn Ewers for the starting job this year? Obviously, you got the NFL draft. There's a couple options in the NFL draft that I would be willing to consider. Again, my opinion is we shouldn't be wasting a high draft pick on a quarterback this year. I think we should wait for 2027 to go find our quarterback of the future. Next year's quarterback draft is supposed to be better. Now the games need to be played. Who knows what next year's going to look like? All these kids could end up, shitting a brick, you know what I mean? And not being very good players. Who knows? And then you got the random guy that comes out of nowhere and has a phenomenal college season. So who knows who's going to be at the top of the draft board next year? But I feel more comfortable taking our quarterback next year than this year. You got Mendoza at the top, and then it gets a little fuzzy after that. Yeah, you got Ty Simpson, another Alabama quarterback. Are you really willing to risk it on another Alabama quarterback this quickly after Tua Tagovailoa? And I know Ty Simpson has nothing to do with Tua, but, those scars are real. And I'm not willing to draft another Alabama quarterback right now. Not to mention, name the amount of Alabama quarterbacks who've had successful NFL careers. I'll wait. I'll wait. So I'm okay taking a quarterback, in the mid rounds to late rounds of the NFL draft this year to come in and compete with Quinn Ewers. But you're going to have to bring in a free agent, obviously. And to be honest, there's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of options. Obviously, we're being linked to Malik Willis. My opinion on that'd be a massive mistake for this franchise. Malik Willis, the sample size is not good enough. Yeah, he came in and played decently for the Green Bay Packers when Jordan Love went down. But again, the sample size is not good enough. He's a fantastic athlete. He's around the same size as Tua Tagovailoa, a fantastic athlete. But man, you give these defensive coordinators an opportunity to game plan for Malik Willis. That's what I want to see. How good is Malik Willis when defensive coordinators have an opportunity to really game plan for him? When the tape is laid out and these defensive coordinators get to see him, watch him, and game plan for him, I guarantee he's not putting up the same type of numbers he was when he was coming in, filling in, and teams were prepared to face Jordan Love and not Malik Willis. You know what I mean? So Malik Willis, in my opinion, he's probably going to get over $20 million. Justin Fields got over $20 million. So I think there's some team out there that will give Malik Willis $20 million. And I don't think it should be the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins should not be offering any quarterback that type of money, especially an unproven quarterback. It just don't make sense to me. Malik Willis is not the future of the Miami Dolphins. The next guy that we really invest in should be the future of the Miami Dolphins. If we're investing in another quarterback, it should be the future. I think Malik Willis, if the Miami Dolphins sign him, all he's going to do is he's going to come in and he's going to mess things up. What's the sense of trading away all our good players? What's the sense of talking about trading away Minka, trading away or releasing Tyreek, releasing Bradley Chubb, if we're going to bring in a quarterback that's going to help us win maybe 3 more games this year and take us out of that prime position to get our quarterback next year? Well, we're a 2-win team. You add Malik Willis, and maybe he takes us to a 5-6 win team and takes us out of the top 5 in the NFL draft next year. No, thank you. No, thank you. I want nothing to do with that. So let's take a look at some of these the NFL free agents at the quarterback position and how much I feel like they're probably going to get in average yearly salary. Number 1 on the list is Malik Willis, unrestricted free agent salary. I think he's going to get 20 plus million a year. Then you got Daniel Jones, unrestricted free agent, salary between 30 to 40 million. Yeah, he went down with a major injury last year, but he was playing really good football last year. Had the Colts as one of the best teams in the NFL. I think he's going to end up getting paid. I think he stays with the Colts, to be honest. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to get somewhere between 12 and 15. Obviously, there's been small gossip going around about Aaron Rodgers possibly joining the Miami Dolphins because of the Green Bay ties. Listen, I don't think that's a possibility. Aaron Rodgers don't want to come to a rebuilding football team. I don't think the Miami Dolphins want Aaron Rodgers. It just don't make sense. It don't make sense at this point in time. At one time, I would have loved to have had Aaron Rodgers, but that time is gone and past. He's not the same player. I still think there's a good chance that he winds back up at Pittsburgh Pittsburgh hired Mike McCarthy. Obviously, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have a history together. I see him going back and playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers for another year. Then you got Kirk Cousins. He's expected to be cut by the Atlanta Falcons. Salary, I see him getting $10+ million a year. I've heard little rumblings about Kirk Cousins possibly coming to the Dolphins. Again, that's another player I'm staying far away from. That type of player, first off, Kirk Cousins wasn't very good with Atlanta. He had a little bit of an uprising at the end of last year, but his time in Atlanta as a whole was a mistake. It wasn't very good. I don't see the Miami Dolphins pulling the trigger on Kirk Cousins. And then you got Marcus Mariota, who did a pretty good job filling in for the Washington Commanders last year. He's going to want $10+ million. Again, Marcus Mariota is one of those guys that he's going to elevate your quarterback position. He's going to elevate the team, but not enough to be a contender, not enough to make the playoffs. All he's going to do is take you out of the top 5 in the NFL draft. He's going to win you enough games that you're not in the top 10 of the NFL draft, but that's all. That's all, nothing more. So none of these 5 I'm willing to bring in for the Miami Dolphins. None of these 5. But there is a name that's not listed, and he's not the greatest player. But Miller had already mentioned him. Sam Howell, former backup quarterback for the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell's still super young. Last year that he had a full season under his belt, he completed 63% of his passes. He threw for 3,900 yards, 21 touchdowns. He did have 21 interceptions, but that was on a very, very bad Washington Commanders team. I think Sam Howells has some skill. I think Sam Howells could come in here and play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. I think Sam Howells is a competent player, but he's not so good that he's gonna take us out of the top 5 in the 2027 NFL draft. He's a player that if you surround him with weapons and pieces, he can win some games as your backup quarterback. But as a starter, he's not going to elevate your team. And to be honest, that's what we should be looking for right now. To fill out the roster, we should be looking for players that aren't going to elevate our embarrassing roster, honestly. This roster is going to be embarrassing. Yeah, Marcos, he's a great game manager. The only person that we should want to have a breakout year for at quarterback is Quinn Ewers. The only quarterback that I'm all right taking us out of the top 5 in the NFL draft next year is Quinn Ewers. Because if Quinn Ewers comes out and just shows out next year, if Quinn Ewers comes out and just plays a Pro Bowl level of football, we don't have to draft in the top 5 to get a quarterback. We don't need the draft in the top 5 to get a quarterback, because hopefully, if Quinn Ewers has that type of season, hopefully Quinn Ewers is our quarterback of the future. Now, do I think that's likely? No, I don't. I don't think Quinn Ewers, last year Quinn Ewers showed me some. I was impressed with Quinn Ewers to a point last year. I think Quinn Ewers is a capable NFL quarterback. I don't know if he's a capable NFL starting quarterback. I need to see more. But last year, Quinn Ewers proved that he deserves to be in the NFL. But I do need to see more. And it's going to be hard to judge him because this offensive line's not going to be good. The skill position players probably aren't going to be too good. It's not going to be a very good team. But if he can overcome those things and play good football, that's best case scenario for the Dolphins. That's the best case scenario for the Miami Dolphins. Miller, don't ever say that shit over here again. Don't ever say nothing about bringing Skyler over here again. Come on. Don't try to get a rise on me this early in the morning. Nah, not Big C for quarterback. Shit, maybe Joe, because I'm gonna get us that number one pick. I'm gonna get us that number one pick. Believe that. Believe that. We're gonna have the first pick in the NFL draft. I play quarterback. And it's not that I can't throw the football, but I can, the difference between NFL caliber players and someone that can just throw the football is completely different. Sam Howell is similar to Tua. Yeah, I mean, without the major injury history, I'm not saying that I think Sam Howell should be the long-term replacement. I'm talking about you bring Sam Howell in to compete with Quinn Ewers. Personally, I'd rather see Quinn Ewers start. If Sam Howell comes in, I'd rather see Quinn Ewers start. See what he can do. How much you think we can get for Minka? Maybe a fourth. Teams know what we're doing. They're not going to offer us a boatload. Rather have Jimmy G for what? Do you think Jimmy G is the better quarterback? See, Raphael, I'm in a different mindset right now. Like, I know that we're not going to be a good football team. So even if Jimmy G's the better option, like Jimmy G, we know what Jimmy G is. I'd rather Quinn Ewers come out and play so I know what we got with Quinn Ewers. We get a definitive answer to the question. What is Quinn Ewers? There are so many positions in need. Ewers may luck out that we don't spend any draft capital on a quarterback. Yeah, Joe, that's right. We have so many openings. We have so many holes. And to be honest, this front office they're making more holes even where we didn't need to have holes. Us releasing James Daniels makes no sense. Releasing James Daniels makes no sense. He's costing us more not being on the roster than if we were to have kept him. How does that make sense? How's that make sense? We don't have nothing for guards. Our guards are Keon Smith and Jonas Vayanaya. And you're going to release James Daniels, who has potential when healthy, to be a top 5 guard in this league. And we're going to release him. We're going to throw him out the door and pay him more. We're not gaining money by kicking him out the door. We're losing more money by kicking him away than keeping him. I don't think Eichenberg is going to play football this year. I think Eichenberg might be done. There was rumors that he was walking around and he looked like he had checked out, like he was way underweight. He looked like a retired offensive lineman. That's what they said. He didn't look like he was a player that was getting ready to come back. He looked like a player that his career was over. Daniels top 5 is a stretch. Who said Daniels is top 5? Oh, top 5 left guard? Why not? When healthy, James Daniels was a top 5 guard. I didn't hear that he didn't want to play for us anymore. That we thought he was healthy enough to play, and he didn't feel the same. Not to mention, it's a new regime regardless. He's not dealing with Mike McDaniel no more. He's not dealing with the same guys. Yeah, I mean, if he's hurt and he can't play, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? If he can't play football, then you know what I mean? I mean, we don't know what the situation with James Daniels is last year. We don't know. We know that he had a torn pec. We know that he was supposed to eventually have came back. If they were trying to push him in and he wasn't completely healthy or he didn't feel comfortable, you can't blame the guy. We don't know the scenario. We don't know that he quit on the team, Bonnie. We're putting that on him and we don't know. He didn't give no interview or it wasn't a Tyreek Hill situation. We can't That's unfair to put on him. And if you refuse to play and you quit on your football team, why wasn't he released immediately? If he refused to play and he was healthy, why didn't you void his contract? You know what I mean? Why didn't they void his contract? Why they didn't do something? I mean, that's what some of the beat writers are saying, that he was healthy enough to come back. You know what I mean? Again, these people don't overly know. A lot of guessing, a lot of if I'm not in the room where I don't hear the player say it, it's hard to go by. It's hard to label a player a quitter if you don't know. And I'm not willing to label him a quitter. No, I don't want Derek Carr. I don't want Kirk Cousins. I don't want a player. I don't want a quarterback that is going to help us win an extra 2 games. That does this team no good. That's no good for the future. It's not taking us to the playoffs in 2026, and it's not helping us with future draft capital. So why bring in a Derek Carr? Why bring in a Kirk Cousins? They're not the quarterback of the future. They're not winning us a playoff game. Makes no sense to bring them in. Zero. I have zero interest in that. If we're going to be bad, let's just be bad. There's nothing worse than being bad, but not bad enough where you get a top pick. Won't they be a bridge quarterback for the young quarterback that we drafted? I'm hoping that our young quarterback is ready. I'm hoping that the quarterback that we take in 2027 is ready. If I'm taking you in the first 5 picks, I'm expecting you to start immediately. I'm expecting you to go out there and win the job from Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins. I'm expecting you to beat them out. If I take you top 5 in the draft, you better be better than Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins at this point in their careers. If you're my top 5 draft pick and you can't beat out Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr at this point in their careers, then you probably weren't the right pick, in my opinion. Why wouldn't you want to be in the top 10? If you're number 12 in the draft, you didn't make the playoffs. So we're losing out on draft positioning to win a game or two more. So we can bring in Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins? No, why? Why? If I'm not making the playoffs, I'm cool with winning 2 games. If that gets us the number 1 pick. Miller, it would be a bad thing because Aaron Rodgers is going to help you win. He's going to help you win some games. He's going to take you out that top 10. And Raphael, it's not that I don't like Derek Carr per se. I just have no interest bringing someone in that is, he's not going to do us any good. He's not going to do us any good. The only thing bringing Derek Carr in is going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us in the long run. So again, what is the sense to bring them in if they're not taking us to the playoffs? If they're not taking us to the playoffs, why would we sign either of those guys? Why would you not rather see what we have in Quinn Ewers? What does competitive get me? No, I don't care if we win. If we're going to be bad and miss the playoffs, I'd rather win 3 games than 6 games. Because I'm interested in getting better in the long run. You know what 6 wins get you? You know what 6 wins get you? It gets you 6 wins the next year too. You know what 2 wins get you? It gets you the opportunity to go out and get a player that is a game changer, a team changer. What other reason? So again, Derek Carr, if he's not chasing rings, why would you want Derek Carr to come to the Miami Dolphins? Answer that. Why would you want Derek Carr to come to the Miami Dolphins? Houston Texans are floating the idea of trading away CJ Stroud. Has CJ Stroud showed you that he can get a team over the hump? Yes, CJ Stroud's better than anything that we have. Veteran leadership. So you want Derek Carr to come here for his veteran leadership to a roster that's got a bunch of guys that probably aren't going to be here. Make Dolphins competitive. So you want us to win 6 games instead of 3 games? That makes you feel better? Again, you want him to take us from a horrible team to a bad team. That's all Derek Carr is going to do. He's going to turn us from a horrible team into just a bad team. No, that's what coaches are for, the ins and outs of the NFL. That's what the coaches are for. I have no interest, and you guys can have your opinion all you want, but we've had the 11th, 12th pick, 11th, 12th pick, 11th, 12th pick. And what's it get us? It gives us an 11th, 12th pick the next year, and the next year, and it would just stay mediocre. I'm trying to get our choice. Our choice. I'm not trying to get the leftovers. I'm trying to get our choice of quarterbacks in the 2027 NFL draft. I don't want to get the player that's left. Everybody else got their choice, and we got who's left. The Jets get their quarterback. This team gets their quarterback, and we get the scraps. Oh, because we wanted to win 3 extra games with Derek Carr. Absolutely not. If we trade out the top 10 I don't want to take a quarterback this year. So I'm cool with trading out the top 10 this year. But and Joe, you're right. Our last 2 top 5 picks were due to, but this is a new regime, so hopefully they get it right, right? Bonnie, we're going to have veterans on this team. We're going to have some veterans on this team. Anthony, they're not trading out the top 5 when they need a quarterback in the draft. They're not doing that. And if they were to do that, you fire them immediately. If you got the number 1 pick next year or the number 2 pick and you trade out of that and you don't have a quarterback, you fire them. Matter of fact, you don't even allow it to happen. You don't even allow them to happen. Joe, that's up for debate. Who knows you can name the preseason guys. You can name the guys that are supposed to be, but who knows who's going to end up being at the top of that draft board? Again, Fernando Mendoza, I didn't hear about him really before this year. Again, Miller, I'm talking having the first pick in the NFL draft. I'm talking about being able to take the first quarterback off the board. This roster is going to be bad enough that we're going to have the opportunity to do that. But if you go start adding Derek Carrs or Kirk Cousins, that takes us. I think that takes us out of that top pick. It takes us at least to the 8th, 9th pick in the NFL draft. Because I think those guys are good enough to win you a couple games. And a couple games does me no good. It does me no good. I didn't necessarily say Arch. Who knows who's going to be number 1? Who knows? I don't know that Arch Manning is going to be the top prospect. I don't know who's going to be the top player in next year's draft. They got to play the whole season out. Again, Fernando Mendoza, and maybe you guys did hear about him last year, but nobody thought Mendoza was going to be the number 1 pick this year. Nobody thought Indiana was going to go and win the national championship. These players come out of nowhere. Nobody knew Joe Burrow was going to be what Joe Burrow was in college football. Drew Alar was projected as a top pick, and now same with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers was a top prospect, was going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. And where'd he end up going? Quinn Ewers was all over all the college programs and the college uh, football game for PlayStation. He was all over everything. You couldn't look without seeing number 3 for the Texas Longhorns, Quinn Ewers. He was all over everything. And what happened? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what player's going to have a fantastic college season and going to be the number 1 quarterback. Ewers is a dusty cat. He's a dusty cat. Never heard someone called a dusty cat. Bottom line is, I just don't want us. I don't want this team to put themselves in a position where they're hurting themselves to win a game or two more. I want us in the best possible position to build for the future. And if that means being the worst team in the NFL this year, so be it. Sometimes you got to take your lumps in order to fix things. And I think this is one of those years that you got to take your lumps. Miller, again, that's because whoever's taking these players aren't doing a good enough job examining who they're taking. You know what I mean? They're not picking the right players. They didn't select the right guys. That's not the player's fault. That's your job to figure out which one of the players is going to be the best. Just because you're the top player in college football doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the top player in the NFL. But I want the opportunity for our guys in the front office, our guys on this coaching staff to be able to figure out which guy they like best, which guy's the best fit, which guy's going to have the best pro career, and they pick the guy that they want. They pick which one they want, whether it's the number 1 guy or the number 3 guy. I want them to have the option. I want them to have the option. I want them to have the option. Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't even thinking nobody could see me this whole time. I had that up there. I know y'all like to look at this beauty mug and my nice smile. You like those? You like those pearly whites? My wife says my eyebrows are disappearing. She said they're getting. She said they're getting too light. Probably this gray hair over here too. Yeah, old. But yeah, I just want them to have I want them to have the opportunity to pick the guy they want. I don't want them to have to take who's left over. Anthony, they can't say the guy's going to be sitting for 3 years. They don't know they're going to be here for 3 years. And if you're picking a quarterback that's going to sit for 3 years, you're not the right people for the job. Yeah, Joe, I don't cut my own hair. I haven't cut my own hair since I was a kid. But again, Miller, there's not. What's the alternative? It's not like we're going to be a good team regardless. All bringing in a Derek Carr or a Kirk Cousins is going to do is make us a little bit better, but we're still going to be super bad. We're still going to be really bad. It's not like I'm saying let's win 2 games and we got a roster that's capable of making a run for the playoffs. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm okay with winning 2 games instead of winning 6 games. 6 games ain't doing us nothing except hurting us. And even if we were the trade away the pick, like let's say we get the first pick next year. You know how much draft capital we could get for that pick? Someone wants to trade up and get a quarterback, we get the 3, 4 first round picks for that pick. Listen, I wouldn't try to. I want what's best for this football team. I wouldn't try to lead anybody around down the wrong road. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's the beauty of us all having our own opinions, and I respect your opinion. If you guys want Derek Carr here and Kirk Cousins, and we get and we're watching other people take the top quarterbacks in the draft next year, and we got the 10th or 11th pick, and we're watching the top quarterbacks go off the board, and we're sitting there with our hands under our ass. Hey, I'm going to pull a reason and say I told you so. I'm going to pull a reason. He fucking kills me, man. Reason kills me. That dude kills me. If I was in Elmira, I'd be taking jobs. If I was in Miami, I'd be taking jobs. He was talking about the Tyreek Hill incident and said the incident at the marina. He said, I got a guy I have a plug with the owner of the marina. Like, shut up. If I was in Miami, I'd be taking people's jobs. His whole show is, I told you, I told you, I told you so, I told you so. But yeah, I mean, again, I think we give Quinn Ewers the opportunity to come in and see what he can do. He showed me some promise last year. I think Quinn Ewers, maybe Quinn Ewers, he was a top prospect at one point in college football. He was supposed to be one of those top draft picks, and he just, for whatever reason, his last year at Texas, they weren't bad. He just didn't live up to the hype. But he's got a super quick release, and that's something that you can't teach. His release is lightning quick. He's got better arm strength than what I thought. Give him an opportunity. Give him a full offseason to be the starting quarterback. Work with the ones. And, maybe the kid, comes out and just does magical things for us. And hopefully he can be the quarterback of the future. I highly doubt it, but you never know. I know Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr is not going to be the quarterback of the future. But Quinn Ewers, it's like scratching a lottery ticket. You're probably not going to win, but maybe you could. Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins are already scratch tickets laying on the floor of the convenience store. They're not winners. They're not winning tickets. You ain't getting none for those. But it is what it is. We're going to continue to break things down. I'm okay with, again, this team, I don't think they're done making moves. The only two that I say are untouchable are our left tackle and the running back position. Do not touch the left tackle or a running back one. Anybody else, I'm cool with. I'm cool with. If we want to try to trade Waddle, cool. We want to try to trade Fitzpatrick, cool. But I'm not trading my young tackle, and I'm not trading my star running back. They're the two that I'm not letting anybody have their hands on. Big C, do you think the phase when it comes to the draft generation talent gets overused by the media and fans in general? I mean, I just think that's the day and age we live in. Everything's different. Everything's different. These college teams are running pro style offenses now. Back in the day, it was a lot more option based. They didn't really run pro systems. Now these players are running pro systems. They're running pro defenses. They're running pro offenses. So players are more is expected of players immediately than back in the day. How can any Dolphins fan feel confident about upcoming season? First time bullshit with so much experience available to hire. Raphael, I mean, everybody told me I gotta have some faith. You know, I feel similar to you. I feel similar to you, but that's not doing me nor you any good. So, what choice do I have at this point? What choice do I have at this point but to cheer them on and hope for the best? Anthony says, Big C, as much as I love Devon, does he fit the type of running backs these guys like? They like big, physical, and fast running backs. You make him fit he's one of the best weapons in all of football. You make him fit your scheme. If you're a good coach, you make talented players fit your scheme. You build around him. That's that hard-headed coaching style that I don't like. If you can't make adjustments to great players, then how good of a coach are you? This kid is one of the elite weapons in the NFL. And because he may not fit your scheme, you can't do nothing with him. That's not the type of coach I want. That's not the type of coach I want. You going to throw away one of the best weapons or trade away one of the best weapons in all of football because he's not your vision of a running back? Screw that. Screw that. He's a star. He's a talented player. If you can't figure it out how to put the ball in Devon Achane's hands, then that's an issue with you as a coach. That's how I feel about the situation. If you can't figure out how to get the ball into the hands of one of the most talented game breakers in the NFL, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. And we need to be he needs to we need to question whether we hired the right guy for the job. Achane, one of the best weapons in all of football. You gonna tell me because he don't fit your prototype that he ain't worth nothing? Come on now. Come on now. That's like saying a prime Tyreek Hill. You can't use him because your prototype of a receiver is a 6'2", 210-pound guy, but you can't use Tyreek because he's 5'9" and 190 pounds. That means that there's something wrong with you, not them. I think Brooks gets restructured and we lose HN to wanting more money. Well, HN's under contract for one more year. And then, of course, we can franchise tag him. So we can keep HN for 2 more years. The franchise tag for a running back is only 13, 14 million. And I would pay HN 13, 14 million all day. All day. All day. He's worth that. Oh, he can demand more, but you can't sit out games. The fine's too much. The fine's too much. You can't sit out games. HN gonna play. And you got to play good if you want that contract. So it's not like you can go out there and not play good football because you didn't get a contract. I think they should just pay him. Pay him now. Pay him now. He's a year away from free agency. This is when you pay players. You give him less money so he can get it earlier. You shouldn't have to pay him north of 20 million. And even if you give him 20 million now, in 3 years, the average running back's going to be making 23 million. The salary cap continues to go up. We should make Tua pay HN. Yeah, Tua should be paying somebody. Tua should be paying somebody. All right, folks, during the off season, I think I'm going to go live. I'll definitely be live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. If I'm available or if I got some content, I'll definitely come on. But Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can definitely catch me in the off season. We're going to break down everything. We're going to talk about everything. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully I have another opportunity to get monetized here coming up soon. Hopefully we can start get a special what's the word I'm looking for? A membership started where we can do special things together, behind the scenes breakdowns. I got a lot of extras planned for the channel, giveaways, all types of stuff. But yeah, we got a long way to go this season, this off season. Not super exciting like in prior years for me, at least, because in prior years I was looking for the 1 or 2 players that could help us get over the hump. They could potentially take us to that Super Bowl level. This year it's all about tearing down. Next year should be super exciting because we should be looking for a quarterback. We should have a ton of cap room. We should, you know what I mean? But this year, it's all about tearing it down. So this year's rough. This offseason's rough. It's hard to stay positive when you're watching your good players walk out the door. You know what I mean? You know that you're in for a long season. And it's going to be depressing at times. But I'm here for it. We'll talk about it. We'll hold each other's hands and cry, I guess. But yeah, we'll definitely break it down and talk about everything. Does Waddle get traded? Who knows? But yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all later. Until then, it's Fins up. Forever. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. changing the game. Fins up high, feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing, we scorching the floor. We know the tour, we stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.